that through these Easter eggs in the movie that these characters turn into the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to Redacted Show. I'm your host, Wafiq, or Feek, with my co-host, my other host.
Your co-host, Dana Dane, in the building. And we have a lovely returning guest favorite. She's not even a guest no more. She's a part of the team, my team, forever team, my queen. Give it up for IJ.
Wow, my team, my queen. That was cute. But hey, guys, I'm back.
Back. And the reason why she's back is because we all have had our lives changed after seeing this piece of cinema we're going to talk about, which is why we brought her here, because she's more well versed in this world of theater than we are. So she's here to kind of guide and give us some insight that we in Wafiq have not, maybe not have picked up in this piece of art we're talking about. We're actually talking about Wicked, of course, so we're not trying to bush to us. But before we get into this conversation and discussion, please, before we get into that, some housekeeping items, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. We're at 26 subscribers, so road to 50. We really do appreciate every subscriber, for real. We've been doing this for a long time, so we just want to thank everybody for their support. We know we've been, slacking a little bit there, but Redacted, the year of 2025 is the year of the grind and the year of the Redacted. So we're started off strong. We're starting it off. It ain't even 2025 yet, so that's how you know we got our business. But also make sure y'all follow us on all social medias at The Redacted Show. We really do appreciate everybody engaging with the reels and TikToks that have really made our hearts glow. I know some of y'all was getting on my case about the Disney Plus list. IT Joe being one of them.
Yeah, sure was. Was.
Okay, because I clapped back with the Cartoon Network one. So we really do appreciate y'all liking that, and let us know what other rankings or verses we should do. Hey, go subscribe to our listening podcast platforms. And yeah, without further ado, let's not waste any more time and get into this conversation. So Wicked, this version is a remake of the original theatrical play, right? Am I correct in saying that? You don't just make sure.
So Wicked was, of course, on Broadway first. It is the prequel to The Wizard of Oz. So giving us that backstory to Galinda the Good, and then the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba.
The West.
But yes, exactly. So the movie takes place immediately after Elphaba is.
Should we say spoilers?
Yes.
I guess.
Well, before we get to, thank you so much, before we get to this, let's do our non-spoiler review, what we thought of it, what we liked, didn't like, without giving too much, and then we'll go into the spoilers. Thank you so much for saying that, because it was like I was about to get
spoiled.
But Joe, I'll let you go first since you're the guest.
Okay. Of course, I love the movie. I love musicals. I've never seen Wicked prior to seeing it in theaters, but it was so good. Ariana and Cynthia did a great job. They did it perfectly. And one thing I loved about it was this was the first time that Elphaba was played by a Black woman, which I feel like is very important to the story of her, because it's obviously about racism. So for Elphaba to be Black, it makes it more real. So I really like that. The music was great. Everything was great. And yeah, I thought it was amazing. The singing, everything being live, everyone did their own stunts. It was just so good. The casting was amazing, and I loved it. It was so good.
I guess I'll go next. Kind of piggyback on what Ijoma said, I really enjoyed the movies. So as someone who strongly dislikes musicals and that sort of thing. I had a very bad experience in middle school, in elementary school, a high school musical, and from then on, I was like, I don't want to even touch no musicals. I was like, if it got singing in it, it's not for me. I just did not rock with that. And as I gotten older, and really more so as I've grown to love Ijoma more and be around her, she's opened me to this space. First being Hamilton, and it's just been kind of dipping my toes in this space. So I really just want to say I appreciate her doing that, because if it was not for her, I would not be watching any of these, and I'm not sorry for that. But with that being said, outside of that context, I really did enjoy the movie. I think it was refreshing, just it actually having some movie plot into it, and I'm very big on just lore heavy media in general, which this definitely has, obviously, with taking place in the Wizard of Oz universe, that movie being X amount of years old. So just having that story retold in a way where anybody can just kind of sit down and watch it, whether you're a child or an adult who has grown up on that movie. And so I'm interested to just learn more about that lore through this movie. And I agree with everything Ijoma said in terms of it makes sense, but obviously I didn't know this was the first time Elphaba was played by a black woman. But after seeing this movie, it made perfect sense. I don't know why they didn't do this sooner, outside of The Wiz, of course, but that was a black
movie.
It was a black movie, and black
everybody was black
anyway. So, but outside of that, I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a refreshing experience after watching The Joker. The Joker really a dude.
Those are not even in the same category.
Started on that. Don't get me started. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. I thought Cynthia and
Ariana
Grande, I had a brain fart. Those two really killed. I really loved their dynamic, and although Ariana Grande's character was annoying at the end, obviously that was on purpose, and you grew to love her, or just kind of feel for her towards the end of that first act. So I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out, and like what is left for part 2, and just some other Easter eggs Ijoma was telling me, because we both seen it in 4D, which was a pretty fun experience as well. But just her kind of giving me other inside and Easter eggs that she was picking up as she was watching it the second time, and me watching it for the first time, I really did appreciate it. Interested to get into that kind of conversation today.
Yeah, so for me, I enjoyed it. I agree with what everybody says. Like Dana, I won't say I hate musicals, but I've never just went out and just like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch a musical today. Like that's never been something I've ever said in my life. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So, but this was a good experience.
Not crazy in that.
Yeah, like this was a good experience. I will say, I had text Dana about this. So this is outside of the movie, just me going to the theater. When I got there, granted, I was probably like one of 5 dudes that was in there. So I walked in.
Surprisingly, I don't mean to cut you off, but there was a good amount of men in our theater. You doing right?
But I do think that the men who were there were accompanied by a woman or another man. So yeah. I didn't see any men there by themselves. Or they were accompanied with some kids. So I didn't see any men there by themselves.
Yeah, I walked in. It was like it was like 50 women. I said, God damn. But the crazy thing is, when I went to my seat, it was somebody in my seat. I said, I'm not gonna lie, move. I paid for this seat. But outside of that, back to the movie. I agree with what y'all say. Ariana Grande and Cynthia, they both did really good. It was more funny than I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be like well, not that it wouldn't be comedy. I didn't think it would be that comedy heavy.
Same.
So I enjoyed that part of it too.
Yeah, and we're also saying like Cynthia and Ariana Grande because they're the main leads, but like Joe was
Everyone.
alluded earlier, all the casting was good. Even there are other uh some other castings that I didn't know were in the movie until you don't point them out to me, like Peter Dinklage
Yeah, being the
being the
GOAT.
professor, and I don't know
Dang.
why
Yeah,
I'm
I was telling
blanking
Dana,
That
I
on.
was
was
his
like,
voice.
yeah, I told him, I said, do you recognize that voice? And I was like, Game of Thrones. Yeah, he was the GOAT.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
him, and then Jeff Goldblum
Being the
being in the
Wiz,
movie,
yeah.
being the
Mm.
wizard, which I thought was also another perfect casting. Like
Yeah.
that makes sense. So I'm also interested to see other castings in the second part. But with that being said, I think it's time to get into the bulk of the movie and spoiler talk. So at this point, we are talking about the movie, like plot wise itself. Again, so just come back first before you do that. Like and subscribe, and then come back when you have seen this movie. But like I was gonna say earlier, it takes place the moment Elphaba dies. Obviously, she gets splashed with the water, and her hat is just in her puddle of fluid, and we
Goo.
see it goes into that town.
It's
Joma, please be accurate.
basically, yeah, the hat is being shown, and you hear Glinda talking about a young girl poured a bucket of water on Elphaba, so the witch is dead. And you see the flying monkeys bust through the window, and they are soaring over the yellow brick road, and you see the lion, the tin man, the scarecrow, and Dorothy with Elphaba's broom, and you see that her walking to the Emerald City. And then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, they go to those kids who are running through Munchkin Land, and they're ringing the bell. Oh, good news! The witch is dead, and things like that.
Right.
Can I want to say something real quick. That opening when they all was cheering she died, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, God damn, they happy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm
They was
like,
having a barbecue.
that text me. I was like, they about to throw some shit on the grill today. They about to make this a national holiday. I'm like, damn, like y'all would have thought she was fucking Hitler or something.
Bro.
They was about to make that a national. They were about to make that a national holiday, and then you see Glinda the Good coming in and coming through her bubble. Which something Joan pointed out to me towards the end of the movie that obviously I didn't pick up on the start of it, and I'm excited to kind of pick it up on again the second time I watch it. But like she's having a hard time pop that bubble in the beginning. Am I lying?
Well, okay, so basically, we know she comes in on that bubble. She can
Mm-hmm.
pop
Yeah.
it because she uses her wand, but if you notice, when she blows it back up again, she has trouble blowing back up because it's not magic. Like, she doesn't have any magic. That's why they call Glinda the Good. They don't call her the Good Witch. They call her Glinda the Good because she's not a
Mm.
witch. She doesn't have any power or any magic, which is also the reason why Madame Morrible didn't like her because she knew she couldn't help her. So that's why in that beginning you see her struggling with the bubble because it's a machine. It's like science. So she doesn't have any magic, but of course the people think she does the same way they think Oz has magic, but she has no real power.
Which I think
Okay.
is a play, kind of a play in today's society of people's understanding of just technology and what people don't understand. If they don't understand it, they think like, how can someone do this? It's got to be mythical or magic or some sort of thing. Like if they can't, they don't believe what they can't see or what they don't know, and people don't know what they don't know. So they just like they're easily fooled. They have this propaganda of this green witch, and like you Joma said, this Glinda the Good, oh, she's all clean and oh, it's bubbly, and you can see it in that in that symbolism of the bubble. Obviously, bubbles being associated with soap, clean, and this, which I can only imagine what they kind of. I think I remember Joe will bring this up in the movie, but like just Elphaba being green, there's a lot of negative connotations with that color,
Mm-hmm.
just being dirty, slimy, all that.
Nasty,
So,
stinky. So yeah.
so I really appreciated that symbolism that is already in there with this universe, but it's even more highlighted in this musical scene, kind of taken through the lens of Elphaba and just seeing like, you know what? She wasn't that bad. She was just misunderstood. She was
Not
misunderstood.
even well, literally, not. I don't even know if it was
He literally was
misunderstood, misjudged. They just
misjudged
judged her. They prejudged her.
Yeah.
because she was
They
green.
didn't even want to understand her because of her appearance.
Yeah.
And then after that, we get to like the celebration and Linda, Glinda, excuse me, getting
Glinda.
to
Glinda.
Glinda. She's, they're breaking out in a musical number, and someone comes from the crowd and is like, "It was said you knew you were friends with the witch." I'm like, first in my mind,
You
I'm like,
messy. She was messy.
She was about to
I'm
leave.
like, how do you know that?
Literally, like, you're messy. Like, she wanted
Why
all
would
the
you
tea.
say that? You know damn well they about to put her on a stake, burn her at the stake if you even spoke to her. But obviously, I could even sense like I don't know what she was about to do, like what kind of story it was about to be, but I could in that moment I sensed like, okay, well, clearly she's some sort of like fraud because you could see it in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, like you said, some people are either born wicked or
It's
it's
thrust
thrust upon
upon
them.
them. Yeah. And
And
even in that scene, you can tell there's those moments where they're all celebrating. Even when they started the song, when that guy sings "No One Mourns the Wicked," you can see on her face that she actually is mourning Elphaba. But of
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
course, she has to keep up appearances to everybody else that, yeah, she's this evil woman and da 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 da. But we know that they were actually really good friends, and she's actually mourning the death of Elphaba. But yeah.
yeah, she was misunderstood. And I'm kind of hopping around here a little bit, but we see towards that scene where going into the end of part one that obviously through that sort of character development that they really do become friends and it hurts more for her and the audience too, just seeing that fall, not necessarily fallout, but it's just like it just goes into the theme of don't meet your idols. And she was sorely
Cool.
disappointed because everyone wants to meet the wizard. Like he's named the wizard. No one's met him. Only certain select people are invited to see his face. And he created this whole town, essentially, or this whole system. And people, again, he kind of controls what people know and don't know, and they're all living in this bubble. And it's just like,
Just like Glinda in the bubble.
yeah.
He the news.
So it's just like you have this image of him, and it's like, oh my gosh, he's just such a great guy, and he's green, which kind of gives me to
Okay, I was about to
Elphaba's.
say, because Feek, I know I already told Dana all this stuff, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to ask you, Feek, in the song when the mom is like taking all her clothes off and stuff, did
I
the
was
Hey.
voice
about to.
sound familiar? The guy singing,
Yeah.
who did it sound like?
The Wiz.
Exactly. Dana didn't pick up on
I
that,
did.
but
I did
because
not
I
pick up
haven't
on that.
seen part two, but the Wiz is Elphaba's father.
Mm. I kind of guessed that one, it wasn't the mayor, obviously,
Yeah.
because they wouldn't have showed her having an affair if that was
If it
still
was
gonna
the
be her
governor,
dad.
yeah.
Yeah. That scene, I didn't expect that scene to come up when it popped up. I said, "Hey, yo." I said, "She having a straight affair in this movie."
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
Yeah, that was
That threw
wild.
me off guard.
But
Yeah.
and then I liked how they emphasized the green bottle too.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever hooch they was drinking turned her green.
Yeah, because the movie is based off of a book, and the book
Mhm.
is a lot like dirtier and stuff. But so they still obviously you have to have the affair because that's the only way that Elphaba would be green. Because
Yeah.
obviously the Wiz, but I don't know if it was before the wizard, he was the wizard or whatever, but it gives her a green bottle, and that's what causes her to be green. So it was needed. Because at first when I saw that, I was like, oh, she getting crazy. She took that top off. She leaning and she drinking. But it was definitely necessary for the story.
Yes.
I will say it. I guess right after that scene when they fully showed her like getting bored and everything, I thought that was crazy. Like him, the mayor, I forgot his name. Him being like, "Get her out of here." I was like, "God damn,
Get
nigga."
it. He said it. Get it out of here.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, nigga, it's your kid."
Is it? It's not his kid. That's
Well,
the crazy
shit.
part.
No,
But
it's not.
that day is his.
That's the crazy part. It's not his kid.
And even just the aftermath of her birth on the family, which we get to her sister Nessa
Rose.
Man,
Don't even get me started on her.
She is trifling.
She is so trifling. Like,
so obviously, I mean to cut you off, Itoba, but just kind of context of how she comes into this world, or like why she is how she is. You know, the father was so fearful of her ending up like
Elphaba being green.
She was feeding the
the mother crack.
Basically, crack. Oz version of clack milk flowers.
Yeah. To the point where it was a premature birth and the mother didn't make it, and the
Nessa Rose's legs were all tangled up, which caused her to be paralyzed.
So we see that. But my thing is, like, how do you grow up hating your sister that has literally had your back since birth? She took care of you. She's riding for you. And people, and you just over here hating. First of all, you're over here like, get away from me. You're just making things worse. I don't need you.
I feel like it wasn't hate until she got more influenced. And I think to me that kind of showed the way how easily people in this world were like manipulated. And then they showed it also when this is way farther, when Galinda talked to Bach, ain't that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she talked to Bach and just convinced him, was like, "Oh yeah, go take her to the dance." And then the prince even was like, "Oh, he was like, oh, you smooth talk the fuck out of him." So I think it just showed how easily people was influenced if they was influenced by something they perceived as normal or better. Because once she got to the school, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay away from Elphaba." So in turn, she was like, "Elphaba." So in turn, the sister was like, "I've been living with you my whole life. I'm trying to be my own thing. So I'm not gonna fuck with you right now either. At these times when I should be helping you." So I thought that was like a small, subtle thing that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I feel like she never really hated her. I feel like what she hated was all of the attention Elphaba got, because everywhere Elphaba goes, people are going to be looking at her, whether it's good or bad. They're always looking at her, and then she has these uncontrollable magical powers. And then, of course, the first day they moving in, she done threw her up in the air and brought her back down. She like, dang, like, I can have nothing to myself. Like, here you go. So I feel like I kind of see where she was coming from, but she was trifling, because how could they be bullying your sister and you're talking about, I can't watch? Girl, I would be rolling over people's feet if it was me. You're not going, and Elphaba better than me, because I don't know what I would have done.
Let me say this.
Laughing at me in a room full, y'all should be lucky icicles aren't falling from the ceiling right now.
Hey, let me say this. Like you said, she better than me.
She better than me. I know that. Because
I would have said,
"This is my last."
It's funny. It's funny. Okay.
Hey, when she like hit her hands together, I really thought she was gonna like smash the hat or something random.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant, but it was just a dance, just a night.
Yeah, but I would have did that hand movement. Somebody would have got
smushed
out of there.
Yeah. Bye.
No, but I'm not gonna lie. During that scene, I almost shed a thug tear during that, because I was just like, it was just so the silence was so loud and
Mm-hmm.
powerful, and even just no, because Ijoma told me this, but like that scene not only being improvised, but those tears being authentic, real tears in the moment to Cynthia
Yeah.
because it brought back
It brought back
memories of
flashbacks of her being bullied. Because basically,
exactly.
Ariana was supposed to join in, but like she never learned the dance. So that scene that we see in the movie, she's
Mm-hmm.
learning it along with her. And Cynthia
Mm.
voiced how she could only do that scene a couple of times because it brought back flashbacks of her being bullied when she was younger. So, and of course, she has a good relationship with Ariana. So she was actually crying in that moment, and Ariana was actually comforting her in that moment. So that's, I feel like, what made it even more special.
Okay,
Yes.
that made sense because I definitely in that scene I felt like, to me, the way I judge some movies, like emotional scenes at least, if I feel like I'm in the room and I'm about to cry with y'all, then this a strong one because I was like, damn, I feel like I feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
choked up in that scene. I will say that was like, I think that was the pinnacle of like emotion for the movie,
I agree.
to me at least.
I agree. It's definitely one of them. I agree.
Yes. And just like you could also see uh Glinda, her character shift in that moment. Cause this whole point up until that moment, she was just like, I mean, you cool. You really taking up my space. Like, I need you out of here. The
Glinda.
only reason I'm trying to get cool with you is so I can get in good with Madame Morrible. And like, I'm about to embarrass you right quick. And she did. And she was like, wow. Like, that was probably her first emotion she felt that was negative. It's like, damn, like I caused this, and like I do not like how this feels at all.
Hmm.
You have something to say.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that scene with the hat. I feel like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Ariana, like, well, Glinda, she does not like think for herself. If you notice that, she is relying on those two people. I forgot their names, but
They're secretaries.
yeah, the two
Her
people,
secretaries.
because they're the reason she even gave Elphaba the hat in the first place.
Yes.
Because
Hmm.
they were like, "Oh, what is this?" She's like, "Oh, I would never give that to anyone. I don't hate anybody that much." And then they were like, like, give her the hat, get her the hat. And that, I feel like that's foreshadowing to her relationship will be with the Oz and Madame Horrible, and how I think in part two we'll see their dynamic kind of like telling her what to do. Even in that moment when Cynthia is like, "Oh no, like I'm not gonna do this," Madame Horrible is like, "Go and be good. If you're good, go and get her back." Like, letting people tell her what to do. She doesn't like have a mind of her own, basically. That, I feel like in that moment where they were doing Dancing in the Ozdas, that was her moment where she made a decision for herself, which is why like we saw that different emotion, because she made a decision based off of how she was actually feeling, and she wasn't allowing herself to be influenced by what other people thought.
Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. I guess going back to, I'll just say this: uh, the scene, in my honest opinion, where I was just like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't even hate no more, was when Fierro, excuse me, when they announced he was transferring to the school and he's the prince and he's this big guy or this suave guy. Everybody's falling at their feet over him, and they bust out in that musical number. I was like,
Dancing through
what?
life.
Hey,
I love that
hey,
song.
I can't even hate. I can't.
hey.
I gotta surrender. I gotta just take it all in. I couldn't even. That was the moment in the movie. I was like, all right, I was all right, Dana. Like, you gotta just let your hate go in your heart. You gotta let it go.
Bro, during that scene, when they was doing the I was like, hey, they jigging? Oh, I was
Nah.
turned up.
it was scenes it was scenes like that, especially in High School Musical, that really took me out of musical. I'm like, they're not doing this shit in real life. This was my mind back in the day.
Yeah.
This was younger Dana watching these types of scenes and thinking like, this is some nonsense, some hoopla. Like, this ain't real. Why? This is lame. And I had to finally reform and just let that
Mm-hmm.
hate from my heart go.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Mm-hmm.
what.
Yup.
But yeah, I
One more
really like
thing.
the character.
My bad.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say one more thing about that scene real
Yeah.
quick, before we go back to his character. I will say I really enjoyed the way they shot the rotating
Did
bookshelves.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yes.
did you notice that it spelled Oz?
Oh, I didn't notice that. What
If
the
you
hell?
look at the rotating that scene, it's a O and a Z. So it says Oz.
I did not
This is
notice
why
that.
you're here on this episode.
Yeah, because
It
I
would have
just
just been 2
There's
days.
Easter eggs everywhere throughout that movie. Like,
I just thought the
I
scene
thought it
looked
was
lost.
cool too, but it's literally an O, and then it's literally the O in the back, and then the ladders are literally like that.
They made a Z.
It made a Z, so it's Oz.
Okay. See,
Interesting.
that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting into, we'll pretty much just kind of talk about that final scene, and then just kind of wrap it up by like other Easter eggs that excuse me, that other Easter eggs Ijoma found, especially particularly pertaining to the main characters we see in the Wizard of Oz story that are hinted in this movie. But so we get to the final scene. They make it to is it
Emerald City.
They make it to Emerald City. They see the wizard, Jeff Goldblum's, and he does his usual scene or thing where he's like putting on this show and grand presentation of his face and trying to intimidate folk, and then they realize it's Elphaba because he sent for her, of course. He's like, hold on, let me chill out. So we see this. He puts on this grand, another musical number, whatever, and we find out that they have this book
Plan.
Joe, please help me with the
Yes.
name
So,
of
as we know from the
book.
beginning of the movie, we hear Dr. Dillmore talking about, they're not letting animals teach anymore, and that they're prohibiting their power of speech, basically with psychological like abuse. Like I think he said something along the lines of like, if you convince somebody enough, they'll forget their power of speech. So basically, like removing their power of speech and stuff like that. And of course, we see that scene where they take Dr. Dillmore away. So we knew that the whole plan with Elphaba was to because they knew she was actually powerful. So to get her to read the Grimoire and work alongside her to get rid of all the animals and basically make them just creatures that don't speak, don't do anything, and stuff like that, which is also another like touch on society and like racism and stuff like that, like putting the animals in cages and stuff like that, silencing the animals, like that's another touch on society. But that was basically their plan all along with Elphaba, which is why Madame Horrible kept telling Galinda, I don't have faith in you. I don't like you. You're never like, I don't believe in you because you don't have any real power. Like, she was like, I don't have faith in you. Like, trust me, I'm only giving you this one because Elphaba told me to. I don't have faith in you. Because she knew she didn't have any real power. Elphaba did. So that was their plan all along, basically, to get Elphaba on their side and eliminate all these talking animals.
Yeah.
They was getting the niggas out of there.
And pretty much Elphaba finds all that out through someone slipped up in that scene, but she finds out through that, and Elphaba's world breaks in front of her. She's like, oh my goodness, how could this person I looked up to so much, he can never do no wrong, is doing all the wrong in the world. He's orchestrating.
He is the wrong. He's the reason for all the wrong.
So now she's using this book to
the Grimoire.
See, the first thing she does, grant wing flight to the monkeys.
That was crazy.
That was insanely like
that was
graphic.
Insane.
It was kind of like I wouldn't say gruesome, but I was like,
yeah, because you could tell that monkeys were in pain. Like you could tell they was feeling it. Like,
and even that whole scene, like that whole third act, I was telling Feet, I'm like, it was a lot of shit that was going on in that. Like it was so much. It was so fast paced and a lot of action in there, which I also appreciated. Uh, and just that final scene, obviously the most popular song, the whole song of the movie, Defying Gravity. You see that musical number come out, and Elphaba coming into her own, pretty much having a moment. It's like, okay, y'all niggas want me to be the villain. I'm gonna give y'all something to be scared of. Fuck y'all. Fuck all y'all. So, because she's like, I'm standing on business. Like, all y'all are some phonies. All y'all is fake. Y'all can't fool me. I seen the light already. And she kind of pretty much flies off into wherever she's going. I don't know where she's going. DJ, you might know.
Well, she said, if you care to find me, look to the western sky. So, the West. That's why she's the Wicked Witch of the West. Because she goes to the West. Oh, okay.
She from A-Leaf?
What?
She good in my hood.
Anyway.
But yeah, so she flies off to the West, which is pretty much where the movie ends after that magical musical number of Defying Gravity. She defied gravity. She defied all the odds. Now, and then end scene. Also, another thing, I don't know about y'all, but the movie, how long was that movie? I think it was like
2
hours and 40 minutes. And
it did not feel that long.
Nah, I'm not going to.
Don't do that.
No, what?
Don't do that.
You
it
won't
didn't feel that long. It didn't feel that long.
Don't do that.
You won't treat me like the animals in the movie. That movie felt like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Bro, I told Dana, that last act, I can't lie. When they was talking to Oz, I closed my eyes for 5 minutes because I couldn't. Look, if I didn't close, listen to me. If I didn't close my eyes and just listen, I would have fell asleep that last 30 minutes. I had to close my eyes and get some energy back because I was like, okay, they doing basic info. I leaned back a little bit, closed my eyes, and just listened to the movie. Then I got back up.
That old you getting old.
I will say, even though, because me and Joe had a late showing. It was like 10, 15.
Yeah, we got out, it was like 12 a.m.
Oh, I wouldn't have made it.
Not even, it was like 1 o'clock.
I would have 7.
Yeah, it was like 1 a.m.
It helped that, well, A, I had a monster, and B, it was a 4D movie. So, you ain't no time to rest. You're getting moved around at some point. So, I will say that. But, it's still, again, at least for me, and you know, but you can speak to this. It didn't feel that long. Like, it was always something happening. Not too many slow scenes. And the ones that were slow, they didn't extend their stay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So pretty much, Joel can get into this more, but there's like 4 characters that we're familiar with in the main Wizard of Oz story that are heavily hinted at in this story.
Mm-hmm. So in part 2 is where they'll get into all that. I haven't seen it, so I don't even know what's happening in part 2, but we do know that through these Easter eggs in the movie that these characters turn into the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. So Bach becomes the Tin Man. I don't know if you notice how he moves. He literally moves like this. He steps on the books and he uses the cane just like the Tin Man does. And you remember Bach talked about he cries a lot. He's very emotional. And we know the Tin Man doesn't have a heart. So, and then we know with Fiyero becomes the Scarecrow. If you realize when they met that first time, Elphaba told him to get stuffed. That's a hint. And even in his song, he talks about how he loves to think life is fraughtless for the thoughtless. Life's more painless when you're brainless. And we know that he doesn't have a brain. And then, of course, in the scene in the theater where they take away the goat, they take the cub from the cage. That's going to be the Cowardly Lion. And we know that Fiyero is like an advocate for the talking animals because he has a talking horse. So we know that he's gonna keep the cubs safe, which will later turn into the Cowardly Lion. I don't know who's gonna play the Cowardly Lion, of course, but I don't know how they
That's wild.
become these characters. But we do know eventually they become these characters.
And to that point on Fiyero, they remember when Alpha was about to get on the train, and Glenda was like, "He's thinking too much.
He's been thinking
And
a
when
lot, and
he
he's
thinks,
like, "I've been thinking."
it's dangerous."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
they have those little
Dang.
tidbits.
I wouldn't have known. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you didn't tell me right now, I would have went the rest of the year and next year not knowing that stuff. The only thing I noticed, really, it was small stuff here and there, but when they brought out the old actors to do that
Yes,
musical
I
number
was
when
just
they were in
about to
Emerald
say.
City,
Yeah,
because they played the original
Alphaba.
Glinda and Elba, right?
Well, not the original, but they were the more famously known on Broadway. They
Okay.
did it, I think, in like 2006, and it's the most popular version of the showing. But yeah, and I was telling Dana that I was like, it's just like Spider Verse when Tobey Maguire and all them came in the movie and met the old Spider Man. It's like that same thing, and then how Adina, who played Ethelbo, goes up to Cynthia, and then how Kristen, who played Glinda, goes up to Ariana, like their characters and stuff like that, and they had them in the movie.
the
Okay.
Wicked verse.
The Wicked Verse.
No, but all in all, yes. Go ahead, please.
I have a question because I've been seeing this like be a topic on like Twitter and stuff, and people talking about like Glinda at the end because we all know that Elphaba's like come with me, and we all know she decides to not. But we do know that at that certain point that when they're in that air balloon that she would have went, but people are saying that they felt like Elphaba flew off like the handle and that she should have relaxed and like stayed and apologized so that they could have came up with a plan. But some people were like, no, like they agree with her like flying off. Like, what do y'all think? Because some people were like, Glinda was right for staying and being like, just apologize. Like that's what she was trying to say in Defying Gravity. Like telling her like, you're always just flying off the handle. Like just calm down, apologize so that we can think of a plan instead of you just deciding to like fly off. But people are like, but Cynthia was like, I'm not gonna fake this for nobody. Like, I don't agree with this. I'm done. I'm gone. So I was wondering how y'all felt because I did see people talking about that.
What was she apologized for in that moment?
Like her reaction and like all of that stuff that she did, like basically being like, oh, you're a fraud, like like basically apologizing for her behavior so that she can work alongside them and figure out a plan to help the animals. But now that she flew off, like there's no way they're gonna get the help that they need because she's like doing it all by herself and everybody's looking for her and she's like a wanted criminal at this point. So there's no way. That's why in the song Glinda's like, I hope you're happy now that you're burned your cause forever. And then that's why Elfie's like, I hope you're happy, like that you would grovel to submission to feed your own ambition. Like you're willing to kiss their butt so that you can get what you want, but I'm not willing to do that. Like I'm not willing to kiss their butt so that I can help the animals. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna do my own thing and figure it out myself.
I feel like there wasn't time to even. I feel like at that moment things was moving so fast, it wasn't time to sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna come up with a plan." Like, I just found out the wizard has no powers. I found out two, they want to use me to capture all these animals that I want to protect. Three, they just made me technically harm these animals. Now they sending them after me
Yeah.
if I don't comply with them. So in my mind, if I do comply with them, I'm more than likely gonna get locked up somewhere. They're gonna tell me to. In my mind, I'm just saying, me, if I was in that situation, my mind would be like, okay, I got the book. I'm the only one that can read it, but they gonna more than likely find a way to force me to read it if I try to
True.
refuse. So only way I can do is get the hell out of here. Like, to me, there was no time to really sit back and be like, maybe let's formulate a plan. At least to me.
On top of that, let's say she does stay. You don't think after that whole nonsense, they're gonna find someone to replace her, and the moment they do, she's out like Monday's garbage.
I don't agree with that because I feel like who else in that? Because they have not. It's just like Madame Marble said. She's been waiting years for somebody who is with her power. Nobody at Shiz has power. Elphaba is the only one. Even her sister doesn't have any power. So I feel like they had to, because they knew she's the only one who can even read the book to do these spells. Like, we need her, and they knew that. That's why they were. I think that's why they were so adamant in that moment. Like, well, if you're against us, we gonna make everybody against you. Like, we don't want anybody to think that, because they started to actually like her now. So they're like, nah, she
Mm-hmm.
evil, she's wicked. Like, if you see that girl, get her down because she is a force to be reckoned with. And even Madame Marble admitted that she could only read 1 or 2 words in the Grimoire, and it took her years to learn. And then, of course, we know the Wiz can't even read it. She is literally the only one who can read it. It opened up for her. So I feel like there's no way they would have just like been like, okay, we're done with you, bye. There's just no way because they need her for the spells. She's the only one who can read the spells. So I knew that they would need her, but it's just like they would. I agree with Feek. I feel like they would have made her read spells and be like, "Nah, we need these monkeys to like be deathly loyal to us. Like read this spell and make them loyal or
Mm-hmm.
something like that."
Yeah, or I think the only way they could have even possibly given it to somebody else is if they one made her teach Madam. I don't remember her name.
Horrible,
Madam Marble.
horrible. It's
Like
like
I feel.
horrible, but with an M.
Oh, Marble.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick note. This is a very side note to the very beginning of the movie. When she was introducing herself, why did she over? They were overemphasizing. Is it just because it's Oz? They were overemphasizing like the OU or something. She said like congratulations or something in her speech, and she said it like extra weird.
I feel like that's just part of the comedy of the movie, like how they say some things. Like I was thinking that too, because I feel like in some of the songs they'll be like, "Yeah, this is so unbelievability" or something like that. Like they just say words weird. Like I feel like that's
Okay.
just
Yeah,
like a little funny drop of comedy, like in the way they speak.
Okay, because that she said something in the very beginning. I said, "What the hell?" Like I legit looked at the team. I said, "What?" Okay, okay, but yeah, I feel like at most they would try to make her teach Madam Marble, because outside of that, it's really, I mean, she the only, like Ijoma said, and the movie told us she's the only one that can read it.
yeah. I guess I was coming from the angle of like they technically made Elphaba, so I would think like
Yeah,
they could just make another one the same way. Now, like Ijoma said, it would take years.
The Wiz gotta go out. He gotta
but
go
They
also
outside.
it's
gotta
like
get busy. So
I was thinking
I
that
get
too.
both sides, but that was just where my angle was coming from.
I was thinking that too, but I feel like how would the Wiz? Because his face is everywhere. There's no way he could find another lady and like get her pregnant. They were like, "Oh my gosh, the Wiz!" Like it would be a big thing. I feel like that. I feel like when the Wiz did it, he
Scandalous.
probably wasn't this big thing that he was before. Because how could that lady meet with this man and not be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm meeting with the wizard," and the wizard is just walking through the streets like it's nothing. Like I feel like that was the good thing about it is he still had his anonymity, and then he like came in this air balloon and was like, "Oh, I'm the Wizard of Oz." Like I feel like that it was prior to him being this Wizard of Oz that he did that.
One thing, didn't they say? I know most of it a lie anyway to the people. Didn't they say he read it? I know he
Yeah,
can't
that
read,
was
but
a
didn't?
lie. If you notice when he reads it, he says Omaha. He's from Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that. So
So he was just saying Omaha. And I was telling Dana, I was thinking it was kind of like how back in the day, like when people like would conquer these lands and they come in on horses and they think that that person is a god because they came in on horses. I was saying I think it was that same similar thinking, like, oh, he opened a book and he said some words, so he must be a wizard, like, because it's not like they know any better.
yeah,
So like
No,
he must be a wizard.
because when they was like, "Oh yeah, he's the first one to read it," and granted, I already knew he wasn't gonna be able to read it, but just sitting back, I was thinking, I said, "Damn, they so dumb.
Literally.
They so dumb." And that go back to the shit earlier. Like I said, they so easy to convince. If you give them one little, not even one little lie, they all just like, "Yep."
Literally. They were quick to be friends with Elphaba again after Glinda. After that dance night, everybody liked Elphaba all of a sudden. Then Emerald City, they get on the mic, say she wicked. Now everybody hate Elphaba again. Like, y'all don't have a mind of your own. Only Fiero has a mind of his own at this point.
And he ain't got no brain. Well, with that being said, it's been a great discussion. Um, Before we move on to the next topic, what rating would y'all give this movie?
And if I say a 10 out of 10, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. It was really good. Like, it was just so enjoyable. And I love movies that leave you thinking because I feel like I loved Hamilton, but Hamilton is kind of like cut and dry. It's just a story about history. But Wicked is like, it speaks to society. You can see yourself in these characters. There's real emotion and ties. And then the music is great. The singing is great. The choreography was so good. And it had all those Easter eggs in the movie that leave you thinking what's going to happen next, especially because I haven't seen Wicked. So I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in part two based off of what I've seen in part one and then connecting it to, I haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, I've seen The Wiz, but connecting it to The Wiz and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
Fake fan. No, I'm joking.
Sorry, The Wiz is better. I've seen The Wiz and then The Wiz Live. I have not seen the white version.
10 out of 10. I was texting Fegan like my line brother. I was like initially 9. I was like 9, but then I sent an invisible text. I was like, it's low key a 10, but I couldn't even hate on the movie like that. Yeah, it was really good. Like Joma said, it left me thinking a lot and just having a lot more like wanting to dive. I always enjoy when I leave from a medium of art and just wanting to like go and research and all this other stuff and get more caught up on the lore. So like that's how I knew like it's Wicked. I was unfamiliar with your game. I was unfamiliar with your game, and I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. For me, I say it's like a 2 out. No, I'm joking. It was. I'm joking. It was for me that was probably like the very, I think, real musical I've watched. And I really enjoyed it. I'd give it like a 9. I think the lowest I could give it is an 8. But I'll say to me it was a 9 because I legit no BS. I was actually smiling during parts of the movie. I said, "Damn!" And I actually caught myself. I said, "I enjoy this." Damn.
that was like again that same scene. I'm like, dude, Dana, you fucking like let that hate go. Let it go.
Yeah. Like just sit back and just enjoy the movie.
Just
like that's how I felt. Yeah, so
but
it definitely enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the redacted agenda, recently Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend drops her defamation lawsuit. So not the original assault lawsuit. He was already tried and convicted for that. The defamation came afterwards because I guess from the flack she was getting from that. So she drops that case. My question to you guys is, what does this mean ultimately for Jonathan Majors? Do you think this kind of leaves that door open for him to get some more roles at MCU? Should they bring him back, or is his career done?
Donezo.
That boy
he's finished. He trying to do this campaign thing with Megan Good getting engaged and dressing like Fiddler on the Roof. It's not working. Like it's not working. Like you're done. Like you're done. Like and you're not coming back to the MCU. There's just no way. I feel like Disney cares too much about their reputation to allow him back. And I feel like it would be an ego thing at this point. Like to remove him and take him off as, I forgot what he was, but and then just to bring him back after all that, like I just don't believe it. I feel like they've gotten people off for less. So I just feel like tried and convicted, you're done.
Yeah. Fee, I'll let you go because I pretty much agree with what Mosi Joma said. Um, but I guess my point I just wanted to make was like the damage was already done during the lawsuit. Whether y'all, whatever mindset people have about his involvement or kind of role in that whole little fiasco, it was ugly to even be associated with that kind of nonsense in the first place. So it
Mm-hmm.
already ruined his image. The damage was already done. That's why y'all niggas don't fuck with these. That's why y'all was acting. Y'all was
Playing in the
when
snow.
Cat Williams brought it up earlier. Y'all was laughing and thought he was bullshitting.
Boy was
But yeah,
skiing.
I'm just
Yeah,
like
playing in
his
the snow.
reputation
You gonna
already
catch a
done. Like
cold.
Ijoma said, there'd be a slap in the face to him to bring him back at this moment. Marvel was trying to can him in the first place. They were just looking for a reason, and this was
And
a
they got
first
it.
class ticket out of it. Now
They
I
saw
think
that. They saw that news come across their table. They said, "Oh, look at this." They
looky
said,
here.
Thank you
"They
so
said,
much.
they said, praise God, praise
She was
Mickey."
actually an industry plant from Marvel to get. No, I'm playing.
All right, bro.
You sound like
Oh, but I feel the same way. It's like you're not coming back to another Marvel project, probably any superhero ish project at all. I don't know who Tyler Perry will probably work with you.
bro. Yeah, he gonna make a movie with you.
But I think at this point it's I won't say it's raps for Jonathan Majors, but it's more than likely raps. He might be doing some Tubi movies in a minute, or something like that.
Yeah,
You need to unhand Megan Good though.
I agree.
He need to unhand her.
This PR relationship has gone too far. He needs to let her go.
Megan Good, listen to me.
Oh.
Call me.
Oh.
I guess because my only playing devil's advocate is like a lot of people brought the argument of, oh, well, the MCU brought Robert Downey Jr. after he was arrested and convicted, whatever, and
What did
DC
he
kept
do?
on. He
Robert
was
Downey.
like
A lot of people have
convicted
done a lot of stuff.
and arrested for some crazy shit. I don't know
It was like
exactly what.
drugs.
Yeah, drugs,
I
like
know
some.
drugs was the main thing because that's why he's sober now.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
drugs and some other
Arrested
wild
for what?
shit.
Just being under the influence or what?
No, it was drugs. I forgot the exact. I'd have to look it up. Let me see. I was.
But yeah, they brought him to do Iron Man, and that essentially saved his career in acting. Like he literally started from the bottom. So a lot of people were like, "Well, if Robert Downey Jr. can do it, why not Jonathan?" And I'm like, they already had
Well,
their mind made up.
in the '90s, he was arrested for he had heroin, cocaine, crack, and a unloaded Magnum handgun while he was speeding. So he spent some time in jail, and I think it was maybe like one more instance. Well, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. I don't know if anything. I don't remember what else happened. I think it may have been one or two other things, but that was like the main instance. But the difference is one that happened that didn't happen when he was freaking in the
Iron
MCU.
Man.
That was in the '90s. So obviously, this is not me trying to be devil advocate. I don't play that, but this is just thinking about the times. In the
Yes.
'90s, the optics are very different than what it are now.
Very
So,
different, and they also look very different. We ain't got to even talk about that. But
yeah. So
And the case is different. I mean, because you could market him as a recovering addict. Like, he's a better man now. I feel like abuse is something that's hard to let go of.
yes, just in like you can be tried and convicted or whatever, or
But you'll always be seen as that. So,
like that. And the crazy thing is, it's like once that comes out, it don't matter who releases it. It can be a credible source. It could be a nigga like me with time on their hands, and just say XYZ is caught with X person and he beat such and such. I could be pulling that out of my ass. People are gonna take that and run to the
That's
bank with it,
it's
and
true.
it's done. Your image is killed.
Done. Yeah.
So the damage was done the moment that news broke, and Marvel already knew what they was gonna do. They were just waiting for a verdict. So yeah,
They wasn't waiting for no verdict. They heard
Guilty
that
or
and
not,
said,
you're done.
they said that boy Kevin Feige said, "Good gracious, I'm glad we done with Kang."
Yeah. Then finally, this was next on the topic, but I mean, I think we all kind of agree on this. Like, so recently, the Loki star kid actor Jack Vale recently came out and was pretty much reportedly homeless for I don't know for how long, but he's been homeless for a minute. He, I guess, was dealing with some family problems, ran away, and he posted a live on, I believe, TikTok or some social media platform, and was just, pleading for help. He was somewhere in the dark, in the middle of the street, or just on the streets. But recently, since that video, he's been poorly getting help and seeking help. And a lot of people are saying, like, oh, Marvel needs to do something. Like, a lot of people saying Marvel because that was the thing that kind of blew him up. And a lot of people are like, oh, he might be back in Young Avengers, whatever. We might see him again. We have not seen him since that project. And that project came out in 2020, like 2021. So my question to y'all is, like, should Marvel have done something, or like how do y'all feel about this? Like, obviously it's sad to see someone go through this, and just like as an actor, this is one of the hardships. Like, if you're a contract worker. You work for that contract. Once that shit done, if you ain't got no work lined up, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, if the question of should they, it's like, yeah, like if they did it out the kindness of their heart, like if they were in the mood to be nice that day. But realistically, it's not like they're legally obligated to keep you housed and to keep you fed. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not in the contract that we will feed you, we will house you. Like, so, I mean, like, it would have been the kind thing to do to, like,
yes,
maybe give them a place to stay or something like that. But I don't think they're obligated to do stuff like that. But it would have been nice. So,
or
it's
at
not like
least
they
to
was going to do
give
it.
him ability to do work so he can
Yeah,
provide for himself.
true.
But I agree with you, Joe. Like, it'd be nice, but it's not really their responsibility. Like, they're not, like you just said it perfectly. They're not contractually obligated to house him and take care of him unless without giving him work or just anything like that. But
Yeah. If the difference would be like if Disney was, if their studio was made like that, where they implemented things with young stars, where they had even like this is me just saying random stuff right now. If they had some random place where they had like a campus for the young actors and all this other stuff, but that comes with a whole bunch of other legal matters and other stuff that I have no knowledge about. So, yeah, the good thing, like y'all said, it will be to provide for him, but at the same time, it's like we're not obligated to. As harsh as that may sound, it's like you're not obligated to.
Yeah,
yeah,
What they need to do is talk to his family. Because
that's
why
what
was
I'm
they
thinking.
tripping?
yes,
Because
they need
for
to
him to
get them
be
people in
for him to
check.
run away, what was going
In
on
the house.
in that dynamic where
Yeah.
he didn't feel safe or secure or whatever.
Yes. So we're gonna move on to our next segment of the show, our Like It Love It Redacted. Ijoma, this is your first time being a part of this segment, so
Okay.
I'll explain it for you and the audience as well. So pretty much we're gonna run through a list of rumors or headlines, and we're gonna see if if the group likes, loves, or redact this news or actions of the day. So first, a Predator versus Spider-Man comic series will release in early 2025. Do we like, love, or redact this?
Redact. I don't
First of
care
all,
nothing about. Oh,
Hey,
we
get her
love
off the
this,
show.
but
Get her off
I
the
was
show.
gonna say I feel like we
Get her
called
off the
this.
show. Get her off the show.
maybe I
I
don't
don't.
know the cultural
I don't want to hear
importance.
anything. I don't want to hear anything else. We're ending this right now. Get her off the show.
Guys, wait.
It was a good episode. We'll see y'all.
Guys, wait.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I don't know. Like, I'm not. I keep saying this, but I'm not a nerd like y'all. Like, I don't care about the Marvel and da 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 and
All right,
all
musical.
that. Yeah, I like me a musical, but I'm not a nerd. I'm not a Marvel nerd. So I don't care
You saw
nothing
that shit
about.
spelled out Oz.
As I was saying. So I don't know nothing about all that Predator. I don't even know what that means. Like, what would them two do in the same room as? What are they even doing together? So redacted. It doesn't really matter to me.
That's fair because you're not hip to the Predator.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I can't lie.
They didn't make
but
Predator a musical.
I
love this. I love this. And to the point, I think you remember. I feel like we called this, or we were just spitballing characters of Predators to fight. Because this is when it was announced the Predator versus Wolverine comic, and we were just naming like who else should he face. We said Black Panther, and I believe one of us said Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think you said Spider-Man. We said Black Panther. We said Craven.
Yes.
We said somebody else. We said somebody from Batman's Rogue Gallery, but I don't remember who. We may have said Bane.
Captain Boomerang. No,
The Condiment King. Oh man.
But yes, we love this. Next is there's been new reported updates to the quote Young Avengers project. Pretty much the main two are it'll be retitled Champions because due to some of the actors no longer being quote unquote young, and the movie will be made into a show due to the underperforming of the Marvels at the box office. Because originally it was supposed to be a movie, but they're making it a Disney Plus series. So do we like, love, or redact?
I don't want to say I definitely don't love it. I don't even know. I'm at like, but I'm a little bit below like, because it becoming a show, I think, is good and bad. Like it being a movie is like, okay, you get it done, it's done with. It being a show, you get more stuff to build upon, but that gives you more room to mess up as well. So,
okay,
we'll say like.
Who are the Young Avengers or the Champions? Who even are they?
I guess at this point it's Billy from Agatha all along. Stature, pretty much Ant-Man and the Wasp daughter.
Okay.
Miss Marvel.
Ironheart.
Ironheart. Yeah. Kid Loki. They put that boy in That's not funny. The Jack Bell character that we just said was homeless.
That girl Hawkeye, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh Allen wife.
Yeah.
Oh,
Haley Steinfeld.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
Yes.
I forgot her character.
As well.
Maybe Scar, Hulk's son, because they showed him at the end.
They need to throw him away. They need to They need to throw that nigga away. Because you know what they're going to do?
They're going to come back with that same cut.
Well, what they're going to do, first of all, they need to just bring in a scroll, call him the Hulkling. Don't even explain it. Because what they're going to do is they're going to have Wiccan and Scar be a couple to replace that Wiccan and Hulkling couple in the comics. And I do not want to see that. Not because I don't want to see gay couples on screen. It's because it's just gonna be blasphemous and
Interesting.
so
Say
it's
this
just
in the
like
year
the way. First of
2024.
all, the way that they introduced Scar was just like they need to
It
throw
was
that character
lazy.
away. Like, don't
It was
even
lazy and half-assed.
lazy. And just for y'all to kind of character change this character, like, don't do that with Scar. Do that with the actual character, like Hulkling. So they just need to throw him away and try again. But in terms of this updated news, I'm like, redact this shit, man. Because I still think the show is not really gonna be good until proven otherwise, or until I see it. Like, again, me and Feet was on here talking shit about Agatha all along. It ended up actually being pretty good. I will say that. Down the Witch's Road. So
Song is like a bop.
I'm open to being proven wrong. Don't get me wrong, but at this point,
Yeah.
And finally, because there hasn't really been a lot of like worthy, like a little redacted news to talk about, but the last thing is the joke. So the joke from Deadpool Wolverine that was originally removed from the movie has been revealed, and the joke is, quote, "We can't even afford one more X-Men. Disney is so cheap. I can barely breathe with all this Mickey Mouse cock in my mouth." So, do we like, love, or redact this joke being removed?
Oh, I love it being removed.
I love
It's a
it being
bad
removed
joke.
from the movie. Yeah, it was not good.
That's so random.
That is not a good joke. I don't even know where they would have the space to say that. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of where they
I'm
would
like,
even say that joke, and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like,
So
maybe the scene where they first meet that Hugh Jackman Wolverine from the other universe, but I'm like, yeah, it would have felt very forced, and
yeah,
I'm glad they cut that from the theatrical cut.
same.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
they took it out
Yeah, because that did not hit.
at all.
Yeah, I laugh at a lot of stuff, but not that. I'm like, ooh, I would have been like, and they said some crazy shit in that movie. I'm like,
They did.
they said some crazy shit in that movie. But next, we are going to get into our infamous bag. Wafik, please drop the music.
Yeah, bitch, I'm in my bag, bag, bitch, I just made a bag, bag, bitch, I just made a bag, bag of beef, bag.
Okay, do you have a get in our bag question?
Oh, shit.
No, I'm playing. So, I have two. Really, one, the spur of the moment. Joma, our get in our bag question is, what anime do you think would make a great musical?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. Okay. Oh, you know what's crazy though? There is an Attack on Titan musical. But it's, you know how there is. I'm telling you, there is one. There's an Attack on Titan musical. I saw it on TikTok, but it's only like in New York. So I won't say that since that's technically already a musical. But I feel like it'd have to be something like, I guess not necessarily. I would like to see Death Note just because I like
I
Death
was
Note.
thinking that.
It's
I
my
was thinking Death
favorite.
Note
So
would
I
be
think
a
Death Note
great
would be a good. It has the
musical.
action. It has all the characters with L and Light, and then even Ryuk, and then it would. I think it would be pretty good. Death Note. I feel like they could really think of some good songs that would eat down for a musical.
That was my choice.
Okay.
In terms of another one, I could low key see them making My Hero Academia musical. or
I
some
can see
sort
that
of
Yeah.
too.
like My Hero Academia on Ice type stuff. But I think Death Note musical would be what the world needs.
I'm trying to think of one. I know one. Okay. Y'all probably, I don't know if y'all seen this. I think maybe y'all have. My Happy Marriage. That
I haven't.
hoe could
I
be a
haven't.
musical.
Is
Y'all
that
should watch. Y'all,
No, no, not that one.
y'all too should watch
Slice of
that. Y'all
Life.
too should watch that.
It's why
Uh,
it's gonna be foreshadowing for our life together.
I hope not.
Oh, well, the
Well,
title is
actually,
a little
this
misleading.
actually the second half, but the very first half, no.
Oh,
But it's a romance anime. It's pretty good. Um, it's on Netflix.
okay.
They got powers and stuff on there too. It's like 12 episodes, and then the second season comes out next year. It's pretty good. But that hoe is it's very much a drama. A drama. So I think it will be a very good musical.
See, I can just imagine going back to like the My Hero Academia or like All Might being like that Wizard of Oz type character, like I'm here, and then just busting out in some fucking musical number. You got Deku in there, just his eyes so good. I could low key also see. Could you imagine? Like the Shibuya incident just being made into
I was even thinking, would JJK be a good musical?
You just hear Sakuna laughing while everybody dancing.
You
I feel
are
like
my
it's
That's
special.
too much going on in that show for it to
Yeah,
be a musical. Where would you have
that'd be a
time
very
to sit?
sad one. That'd be a very sad musical.
Yeah. Yeah, Attack on Titan the musical. It was made in 2023, but it's only in New York City. So it's a musical.
Well,
I'm telling y'all, it's a musical.
I know I'm going to New York. I'll go watch that.
Next trip, babe.
Maybe.
That was pretty much the only get in our bag question I had. The other one was we'll do that on another episode. But with that being said, before we get into our final segment, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on this episode. We really do appreciate it, and hoping guiding the wicked conversation and giving us a lot more insight on what we missed, because there was a lot of stuff me and Pete both missed.
A lot of stuff.
So we literally, if not for you, we would have just literally been two niggas on here saying, yeah, that shit was good. Right? It was good. Yeah, it was
Just
good. I really just wanted
We would have been just yapping about nothing.
So, we really do appreciate you taking your time out your day to come on this episode. And
You're
have
welcome.
this conversation with us. But our final segment is our redacted rule. Ijoma, you have your redacted rule.
I should have came prepared because I knew, but let me think. I'll say I'll just say be yourself.
You want us to come back? Wait,
Be
what you about to
yourself. I feel like that ties in to the wicked conversation into life. Be yourself unapologetically. Don't let anybody influence you to change. Think for yourself, form your own opinions, and be authentically, unapologetically you. Yeah.
Do you have a redacted rule for the week? That was a good one.
My redacted rule for the week is have fun. Just have fun.
Just the week.
Stop for life. My redacted rule for life: have fun. Stop being. Look, at the end of the day gotta end, bro. Have fun. Have fun. Don't have a bad day. You can have a bad moment in the day, but don't let it ruin your whole day. Never go to sleep angry or sad. Just go to sleep.
Amen.
So that's mine.
Amen.
My redacted rule is You know, one of your coworkers has a partner, has a spouse, has a girlfriend, or has a boyfriend. Don't keep egging on the issue. Don't keep egging on the issue. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
You're an idiot.
Leave it alone. I'm an idiot for this room. I'm just saying, because a lot of people that's
told
going. Yeah, I did. I told him. Yeah, just hey, if you're hitting on your coworkers and you understand they're in a nice happy relationship, just leave it alone. It's not for you. There's a lid to every pot. That lid is taken. That pot is taken. But with that being said, it's been a great episode. Thank you so much, Joe, for coming on. It's been your boy Dana Dane.
Your boy Wafiq.
And IJ.
And we out.
Peace.
Recipes call me, I'ma show 'em how to shoot. On the 4-5, jump in the ass, my crew. Yeah, I'm stepping with a fed, keeping all of the hoes on mute. Pull up part, could be yellow in a brew. 48 for a quick burst. Crazy 8s in the back, yeah, the trunk on hot like a cue. 40 on me when I'm in the backseat. Blotter, paper pre-cut. Chris make juice, it'll drop like ink. Chain came with a clean plate, came with a sink. The Parator came with a mink. Tricones white like paint. My hoe by the hoe, cause she know it's my king. Hit on my side, cause I drop a song. Think you should hit up the link. The phenotype came from the pink Colombian thing. Yeah, the genetics unique. Cellular right on the beat. I'm teaching the hoe like I'm Play-Doh. I got the veggies like by the tomato. You got a basic hoe making Alfredo. I put a bag on a hoe on my payroll. I get active at night, then I lay low. The semen was breaded with panko. Drunk in my soup, I believe it was makeup. Got my Soviet clutching the Draco. You said it was bacon, we taking your cake.